Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 3, Episode 14. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. Now let's jump right into it. When the episode first opens up, Dr. Francis is talking to Tisha, right? And he asks Tisha, so how do you find out if Marceau is lying to you? Because remember last episode, they were talking about Marceau lying. She said, well, you know, I'm a smart girl. I do my research. I look him in his eyes and I believe what he says. Tisha, you choose to believe what he says. Because sometimes it's easier to remain in the dark. Okay, now I don't want to put that on y'all and I hope that he's not cheating, but I don't put nothing past nobody. I'm just saying, everybody's capable of something. So all I'm going to say to you is, I hope when you are looking him in his eyes that he is telling you the truth. So she said Marceau is petty and he likes to hold on to things. And then in the end, he's like, boom, see, I told you I wasn't doing that. She said, but for her, she likes to have confirmation that he's not doing it because she don't like to play them little games. So Dr. Francis asked her how she dealt with the tension of how he gives love and how she needs to be loved. She was like, you know, I just try to see things from his way. She said he told me I was too independent and he wanted me to lean on him more. Yes, he wanted to call all the shots. That's what it is. That's why he wanted her in the house, because he wants her only leaning on him. So he said, do you know what it is about him that needs you dependent on him as opposed to you exercising your independence? She said, well, you know, I think maybe it's his ego. He said, no, it may be his fear of loss. Let's get into it then, Dr. Francis. Honey, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. I see why you standing up. Child, let's hear what else is going on. Moving forward, he said the more you depend on him, the harder it will be for you to leave him. Bingo. Dr. Francis, you better speak your speech. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what it is. He asked, so is he dependent on you for anything? She's like, maybe sexual needs? That is sad. Tisha, let me speak directly to you, honey, because I know y'all peruse these internet streets. You probably don't stop over here, but honey, I'm still going to say it. You are worth more than what's between your legs, wife, mother, or not. Okay? And if all you think you bring to the relationship is sex, then that is sad. You went to college, you graduated, you're a part of a sorority, you're a business owner, you're a mover and a shaker. Okay? You bring way more to your marriage and your relationship than sex. Okay? I just want to make sure that I say that to you. So then Dr. Francis assures her that she's a wonderful person, and he gets concerned about her validating things about herself, even the small things, because they're important and she needs to value herself. And as a person, not as a wife, as an individual. Baby, Dr. Francis really poured into Tisha. When I tell y'all he was telling her everything that she needed to hear, she needed that. Tisha, you are definitely important outside of Marceau. Honey, he got you so confused, you don't know whether you up or you down. Moving forward, the Holts are getting together for the kids, and Martell said they got some homework from the co-parenting coach, and he said his hope is that they get together for the kids and Mel doesn't push any of his buttons. You mean you hope y'all don't push each other's buttons? Okay? Because y'all get together and start fighting just for the sake of fighting. Y'all just want to communicate with each other, bad, good, or indifferent. Y'all, please. So they're at this beautiful family picnic, and I was watching them. Y'all, I really hate when I see the black family separated, or any family for that matter. I always feel so sad for the kids. And then these children, they were sitting here, they're so smart that it was really sad watching them explain themselves to their parents. I was like, man, we need to do this off camera, honey. I don't know. It's just something about me with the children voicing their concerns and whatnot. I just want to protect their little innocence. Like, keep them in a bubble. Like my mama always tells me, you cannot keep your child in a bubble. Well, honey, I want him to stay young and a kid as long as he can. Like, I mean, you have forever to be an adult. And it's quite ghetto. I give it 1.5 stars. Honey, and I'm only saying 1.5 because I like y'all out here in YouTube land. Moving forward. So anywho, Mel and that voice of hers, they tell the kids about the lady that they've been seeing to help them. And they play this card game about issues that they're having. So Tank pulled the card, right? So she asked him, what do you want to see happen differently than what's happening right now? He said, I want to see y'all back together so then I won't be crying all the time. And I want y'all to watch this part. I don't know if it was just me, but the whole time that he was speaking, Mel's mouth was moving with his, like kind of mouthing the words. I don't know if that's just me, but rewatch that scene if you have time, because it definitely gave me like a weird vibe. I'm like, girl, not you feeding him the lines to say what is happening. Mel said, well, sometimes, you know, you have friends whose parents aren't married anymore, Mariah said, no, I don't have any of those friends. Honey, I know that's right. Well, sweetie, you are doing great. If you don't have any friends whose parents are no longer together, then that is a great group of friends. You keep those friends, honey. I love to see it. But Mel, honey, this is just a side note. You, in this Tangerine, in this Confessional, baby, the glam team is showing out this season. That weight look good on Mel, too. I was looking at it, I said, okay, Mel, got a little weight on you. Hair sitting right, wig sitting right, giving the zhuzh. Okay, girl. She said, they really need to make the effort to make sure that the kids are good, not just talk about it, actually be about it. And this is their first step. And I thought they were doing good, child. I thought they were doing good. And I mean, they go in and out right here, but for now, they doing all right. So Mariah gets a card, and she's like, ask any family member anything. That was what she got. So she asked Mel if she ever thought about getting remarried. She was like, no, I've never thought about that. So Mariah was like, well, yeah, I said that because I am very happy that you aren't thinking about that. She said, why are you happy? She said, because I don't want a stepmom or a stepdad. Well, honey, how about another sibling? Martell, okay, you're going to need to speak up. Now, that is going to really hurt these kids. This baby is saying right here, I do not want a stepmom. I do not want a stepdad. So I am sure that they don't want any additions to the family. Now, it's nothing that they can do about it. But I was just thinking to myself, oh, Lord, when they find out about this baby. So Mel was like, well, what about a bonus parent? She's like, I don't want to have a bonus parent. I don't want to have to even say that. I don't want to have to say stepmom and stepdad. I don't want it. Okay, she said what she said, and she ain't changing it. Martell was like, well, if it gets to that, we'll definitely have a full conversation. So Tank was like, no, it's never getting to that ever. Oh, these poor babies. They don't even realize what's actually happening and that their parents are better off separate. And it was really heart-wrenching to even watch this because I can just imagine how these children are feeling. I mean, when I had to have the conversation with my son, granted, his father left when he was not even a year old. So he's basically been in the home the entire time, all of his life, without his father. But I know it even affects him. So if you go from having one family unit to being separate, I can only imagine what these babies feeling. Oh, this was sad to watch, child. So Martell was like, well, it seems like we're doing good. They aren't saying the wrong things to each other. This is what he's saying in his confessional. So everything is everything, right? And he said, I just love this moment. So Martell asked the kids, he was like, are y'all happy? They said, yeah, but we would be happier if we were in one house. So then Tank, instead of trying to get them to date, honey, it ain't gonna happen. But this is cute. And Mariah was like, do y'all have a secret crush? Martell said, yeah, I got a secret crush. Y'all want to hear who it is, or y'all want to keep it to myself? They were like, yeah, who's the secret crush? And he said, it's y'all. Y'all my secret crush. I thought that was cute. I'm like, okay, Martell, honey, showing the fatherly side of you. Now, Martell, he gonna be a father if he don't do nothing else. Now, he's not a great spouse, and he's not a great husband, but he is gonna be a father. So Milani said, I know who your crush is. I saw her. I saw you in the elevator with her. Here go Martell. With me? Yeah, Martell, with you. He was like, and who were you with? She was like, I was with mommy. Now, my question to this is, because Mel blurted out, well, she ain't lying. This was too much for me, first of all, because she shouldn't even know anything about this. And second of all, so was Mel going to catch Hotel Holt in the hotel? Like, why were they there and Martell was in the elevator with another woman? Child, I got so many questions. Child, I might need to call Milani. Well, her little grown self. Child, she's so cute, honey. She's telling all the business. Honey, it be your own kids. So they're like, okay, y'all go play, honey. I don't go play. So Martell said, I feel like the kids should know certain things. I mean, protect me when it comes to the kids. Protecting me means protecting them, Martell. Now, I agree that, don't speak down about the other spouse to the children. I agree about that. And they should be allowed to be kids as long as possible. But also, were you protecting yourself when you got the mistress pregnant? I mean, we need all kinds of protection. We need protections on our whatnots, and we also need protection as far as the parents are concerned. And why are you worried about her protecting you? Did you protect her when you were embarrassing her all up and through national TV? All up and down the Huntsville streets? Were you protecting her then? Oh, okay, I ain't think so. Boy, hush. So they started talking about when he's going to reveal the sibling to the other kids, right? Mel was like, I really want to be present because I don't know how they're going to react because I don't know if they're ready for that. So he's like, do you think they're ready for that? She's like, no, I don't know because I've never been in this situation. He said, well, with your siblings, y'all got introduced at 18. Oh, okay. So you want her to protect you, but you all on the TV talking about, well, you ain't know your siblings. You ain't know them till they was 18 years old. See, this is what I'm saying. He was like, well, should I wait till they're 18? Martell and this passive aggressive bullshit. Okay, these little digs. Then when she goes off and starts speaking in that high-pitched voice and calling you Martell Hope, then you're going to have a problem. Like, I would have went off trying to include my family in this drama, honey, in this mess that you caused. I would have been upset. Okay? But you know what? You pull it together in the face of the kids. Okay? You just hold it together. So then Mel goes, well, that's different because your scandal is on a totally different level. She was like, they're more likely to hear things, on Instagram. They go on YouTube. So I feel like they should hear it from you. He's like, yeah, I definitely think they should hear it from me, but I don't know if I want you there. Why? Oh, okay, because it's a separate family situation. Boy, goodbye. So then she brings up her talking to Chris and how Martell can back Marceau, but doesn't want her to build on the 47 acres. His hateful behind, here he go. He's so begrudging, as my grandmother would say. He's like, well, I don't have a problem with it. He's like, I really didn't feel like you were building if you really didn't want to build anything because you've been singing. You're not in the construction business like that. She's like, yes, I've been in it just as long as you have. Now, Mel, to his defense, now you do have a platinum song that's topping the charts. I think you're so uncool. I think you're acting a fool. Shout out to Melody. Y'all know I'm going to sing it every review until this season is over. Child, I love that song. I think you're so uncool. I think you're acting a fool. Child, this is a mess. So anywho, she's like, don't downplay me. I've been doing this. I've done this for 10 years. So don't downplay me. He's like, I'm not downplaying you, Mel. You know how he starts stuttering, he lying and whatnot. Yeah, right, Martell. You're bitter because you can't pass your test. You lost your family. Okay. And it's a beautiful family. I love to see all of them get together. The girls look just like her. The boy look just like him. Honey, I love all of it, but you blew it. Okay, so now you're upset about that and you don't want her to shine in any capacity without you. It's Pinky and the brain. She was the brains of the operation. He's like, you don't strike me as building houses. She said, how do you know? Did you ask me? Child, Martell wanted out of Mel's presence immediately. He said, okay, so are we done here? I was like, yeah, go on, tuck your tail between your legs, honey, and go on about your business. He was like, I think I accomplished everything. I think we did good. She was like, yeah, facts. Oh, child, these two here. That's smart. I really appreciate y'all ending it before it gets out of hand, honey. The kids are frolicking in the grass and whatnot, playing. They got their little overalls on. They've already gone through enough. So y'all pack it up, get your blanket, and head on home, child. Moving forward. Marceau is at the office when Tisha stops by. Hey, girl. So Marceau actually complimented her when she walked in. He was like, well, you look pretty. I was like, oh, not a compliment. So they started talking about Scott Manor, and he said that he spoke to Uncle Mike about the progress because they are not moving. The direction that they need to go is not happening fast enough. He said, I also talked to another architect, but he wants, $100,000 more. So she's like, okay, so you fired Uncle Mike and you talked to a new architect. He said, initially I fired Uncle Mike, but then I spoke to the principal of his architectural firm and, he asked for another chance. Did he call you or did you call him after that price change? That's what I want to know. I think you called and said, I'm going to give y'all another chance. Okay. Don't let it happen again after you heard that price. So they're having this destiny race where people write down their goals and they race towards them. And I really like that. I was like, I want to go down to Huntsville just to be a part of that race. I love that idea. And they also have the Marceau and Letitia Scott Foundation where they support local small businesses. And baby, I love to see it. That is great. So she tells him that she sent out a text to the ladies, but only Mel and Destiny responded. And when she said that, I immediately wrote down in my notes, well, where is Kimmie? That's exactly what I wrote. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. So they started talking about how Marceau is feeling. And he said he felt disconnected. She was like, well, you're definitely disconnected from me. So he starts to talk about the stress of the panorama and how things were just coming down on him. And he had so many projects going and he's not used to dealing with that level of stress. So she explains that she was also facing challenges. And I was wondering, like, when does he ever check to see how she's feeling? Every time I turn on Love and Marriage Huntsville, Tisha is trying to figure out what's wrong with Marceau. What is wrong with you today? How can I be of assistance to you? What about her? Like, when does he ever stop to say, is your love tank full? Are you being fulfilled? Are you okay here at the house with these kids day in and day out? Like, how your mama them? Well, we know he don't want to know about Miss Wanda. But I'm just saying, like, ask something about her. So she tells him about the solo session that she had with Dr. Francis. And baby, he was looking at her like, oh, child, this finna be some bullshit. So she starts telling him about the question that he asked about her asking who she is outside of a wife and a mom. She said that she may see herself as a wife and a mom, but she's also a person with goals and dreams, and she can't give up on that person. So then here he is trying to manipulate her. He's like, yeah, well, part of that is true and part of it isn't true. All of it is true. You have to make sure that you don't lose parts of you trying to be everything to everybody else. I used to be like that. I used to be like, okay, I got to be this and that and this and but I'm not taking care of me. Honey, my hair was falling out. I was stressed all the time. Bags up under my eyes. Definitely not giving the zhuzh I should have been given. Oh, no, ma'am. Honey, I got to make sure I take care of me. So he starts trying to brainwash her into thinking she only needs to be one-dimensional and stick to her role, okay? Know your place, know your role. He said, I think therapy is good if the therapist knows your goals, but it doesn't help when you leave more confused. She was like, you think I'm more confused now? She was like, actually, I feel like it's making me think of things that I wouldn't normally think of. It gets my wheels turning. Yeah, Marcel, honey, it ain't working this time. She knows she is more than just your wife. Now she finally listening when somebody else says it, and I love it. Baby, Dr. Francis is opening them eyes. Do y'all hear me? In the next scene, Tiffany and her surprise groom, they're back where it all happened. They invited all the people that couldn't attend, her family, her friends, and the cast. So they get together to play a game of baseball. And just a side note, honey, I love me some baseball, okay? So Martell is acting like he's so athletic, but honey, can't even hit the ball. He barely bunted the ball. I said, not a bunt. Oh, child, no, ma'am. Then Mel came up and knocked it out of the park. I said, not Mel being better at baseball as well. She has a license. She's better at baseball. Yeah, she's popping right now. And basically, this is just another thing to add to that. And even she said in her confessional, she's like, let's just add this to the list. And I was thinking to myself, all those muscles, and this is what you give? Child, I think you're so uncool. I think you're acting a fool. Child, this is a mess. Not you can't hit a baseball. Oh, Martell, honey, this is a fool. So Destiny showed up late. Hey, girl. Tiffany was saying something about it. Child, just be happy she showed up. She said, I showed up because it gives me hope for my next ex-husband. I know that's right, Destiny, honey. Line them up, child. Tisha and Marceau, they left to go get ready for the Destiny race, right? Here go, Destiny. I am so honored to have a race named after me. Girl. So she was like, the Scotts are low-key obsessed with me. Child, I think you might be obsessed with them. Child, you gonna get you a Scott one way or the other. So then Maurice was like, Destiny, it's not always about you. So here go Tiffany. Well, Martell thinks it's all about him. Mel said, well, because it's our anniversary coming up, or it would have been our anniversary. It would have been July 19th. He said, I forgot about that. Boy, please, you didn't forget about that anniversary. She was like, yeah, on the 19th. So he's probably feeling it in his soul. So Kimmie said, well, it takes a few years after divorce, because divorce is tough. It's going to take a few years to get through it. So then in his confessional, Martell said, look, at this point, I'm tired of people feeling sorry for me and accepting Mel's story as facts. Martell said, well, I divorced her because, I said it first, and then she got on social media and started blasting that I wanted to divorce her. He said, I did like Kanye West, and I allowed Mel to file for divorce to save face. Now, I'm going to say this, Mel, you started this. Okay, you started it. You should have not even said anything to him. Don't even speak his name. Why are you bringing up an anniversary? Y'all ain't together no more. How do you know what he's feeling? Y'all ain't together no more. Leave him alone. This man has no chill, absolutely none. He waits for any opportunity to try and make you feel like the divorce was your fault and his idea. Child, y'all find any way to argue. This is crazy. So then she starts bringing up the cheating and whatnot. Mel, I don't want to tell you when to get over it, because let me tell you right now, when my husband cheated on me, nobody could tell me how to feel, when to stop hurting, none of that. Okay, I'm going to feel what I'm going to feel until I'm tired of feeling it. So I totally understand. But stop talking to him. Don't engage. Don't. So she starts saying, I asked for a divorce, but you asked for a divorce too many times. So Mel yells out, can we please rewind back to season 1? Baby, and at this moment, we rewinded back to season 1. I said, baby, Mel definitely has some pull on this show. Do y'all hear me? And baby, when she said roll the tape, baby, they rolled it back. Season 1 it is. When Mel had the long bangs and the short sides. So Mel is trying to explain that Martell was always saying he wanted a divorce. And I'm like, okay, we really don't care, honey. She's like, he didn't want a divorce from me. That's what I do know. Well, did you want a divorce from him, honey? Why are y'all revisiting this? It is done. So Louis is trying to explain to Martell that as a man, you shouldn't respond to everything that's posted. Martell is arguing neither should a woman. He feels like, there should be no double standards when it comes to men and women. But then he starts to get crazy. He's like, men, we're kings and we need to put our foot down. Martell is still 16. He has not yet to mature. Something is really wrong with him. Because I feel like neither one of you should be playing social media games. That's what I think. He said, the women, they need to stay in their place. Say what now? Martell, have you lost your rabbit mind? Oh, he has lost his whole mind. Honey, he would not have to film and come back when he finds his mind. How dare you and your peanut head sit up here and say that we need to know our place? What exactly is our place? Oh, ahead of you, already with a builder's license, able to build on the 47 acres? Or excelling at every corner? Having people wanting to do interviews with you left and right? Where exactly is her place? Please let me know. Child, see, he needs a woman that will let his chauvinistic ways fly. Because Mel was too much of a force for him. That's why he doesn't like her, because he feels inferior next to Mel. That is the very reason why every time he gets with her, he antagonizes her and he gets joy out of arguing back and forth. Child, so then they start arguing forth and back and forth about who cheated. And to me, this is embarrassing. Tacky Tiffany's family is sitting over there. So please, y'all, pipe down. So Tiffany is like, we always get together to celebrate these things. And then there's drama. Tiffany, okay? Girl, you just got here. And that's what they do. These two are the show. So unfortunately, it's going to continue. I don't know why y'all invite them to things. Now, in real life, I'm not ever inviting these two together anywhere. But this is Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay? So, they got to be invited. Otherwise, what y'all going to talk about? Tiffany and Louis are saying something, child, but now Destiny, Martell, and Mel, now they're arguing back and forth. She's like, Martell is emotionally immature. So are you, Mel. So are you. Destiny, honey, stay out of it, baby. Allow these two to act up in public alone. Don't even get involved in it. So Louis is like, come on, let me take the guys outside. In the confessional, Tiffany is like, I hope it doesn't come a time where they can't be around each other. The time is now. Girl, I don't know where you've been, but the time is now. So outside, Martell is telling them it's not like this when they're alone and they drop the kids off and they exchange the kids. Oh, okay. So basically, translation, we putting on for the cameras. Okay, because we don't act a fool when we're by ourselves. But once we get in front of the cameras, we got to give y'all something to talk about. Okay, got it. So Kimmie is telling Mel, y'all always act up when y'all get together. It's becoming more frequent. Destiny was trying to tell Mel that in therapy, she learned that she needs to control herself when it comes to her triggers. And Mel was basically saying, so what am I supposed to do? Get up and walk out? Well, what you have to understand, Destiny, is that Mel is not going to therapy, honey, so she's not learning nothing to help herself, okay? And secondly, this is still new and it's raw. So when she sees him, it's a flight or fight response. They got to get into it as they get into it because there's still love there. It's love and it's hate, okay? They haven't made it to the indifferent part of the relationship. Because let me tell you something. I can see my ex right now, child, and wouldn't give up, okay? Could care less. Wouldn't spit on him if he was on fire. Moving forward. After all that, Tisha and Marceau, they show back up. Inside, the ladies are talking about the race that Tisha is setting up and how only Destiny and Mel responded. So then Kimmie said, well, I didn't like that you put me in a text group. Girl, not a text group. You mean a group text? Child, Kimmie, you sounded straight old in that moment, honey. Not a text group. They were like, well, what? Why? You don't like us? She's like, oh, no, I like y'all. She's like, but you don't have to text me. I always support you. Okay, Kimmie, but you still need to respond to the text. Like, girl, just reply back. Say, okay, got it, or something like that, but you do need to reply. Tisha said, no, it was about sponsorship. She was like, okay, and again, I don't feel like I needed to be included in that. I don't need to be included in the text group because, child, she calling it a text group, so I'm going to call it a text group. Your mama call it a text group, I'm going to call it a text group. So Kimmie got a little attitude today. I don't know exactly what's happening, honey, but I'm going to have to go ahead and side with Tisha on this one. If you felt that way, why didn't you call her and say, hey, girl, you don't even need to include me, girl. You know I got you. I got you. I'm your sister-in-law. Don't worry about that. But you didn't say anything. You just waited to get here and waited for her to bring it up and then said, I didn't appreciate being included in the text group. That makes absolutely no sense. Kimmie said, I didn't like being in that. It speaks to where we are in our relationship right now. This is what she's saying in her confessional. Which is where, Kimmie? I don't see anything wrong with the group text. Granted, If it involves sponsorships, Tisha, moving forward, those warrant phone calls or emails with sponsorship letters attached to them. But if money is a little tight, Kimmie, just say that. Honey, just say, look, we ain't got it. And that's that on that. But I mean, I don't understand why you're upset about a group text that you all were involved in. And then if you're saying that, then what? What's going to be next? You're going to be upset because you're not involved in the group text? Like, child, y'all find any way to argue. All of y'all are, child. Kimmie looks at them. She was like, I don't need what y'all need. Mel said, well, did you tell her that? She said, no. So you just didn't say anything. You just thought this was going to rectify itself. I told y'all something is up with Kimmie this season. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the weight of what's happening with Maurice. I'm not sure. But me, I wouldn't even bother with Kimmie moving forward. I wouldn't. Mel was like, well, you know, communication is key. Tisha said, that's what I'm learning. So Tisha said, I didn't think it was an issue to send a group text. She said, it's not an issue. You know, it's just not how we roll when it comes to the events. So Tisha said, well, why didn't you call me? She said, well, why didn't you call me? Oh, okay, because we got to call you. She said, you know, like you normally do. Kimmie, you are wrong this time. Okay, you're flat out wrong this time. You want to pick and choose when you want to be sister-in-laws. It don't work like that. You wanted her to fall back and she fell all the way back. She said, I don't know, Kimmie. I sent it in a group text. She's like, I asked you a question and you turn around and asked me a question back? She's like, yes. So Tisha said, so that's where we are? Tisha said, I could have called you at that moment, but the funny thing is, I always call you and y'all don't never call me. I noticed when I stopped calling you, I never heard from you. Listen, I realized the same thing about a friend of mine. Let me just say this to y'all. I would always call her. I would always text her. And I said, she never calls me. And at first I thought I was tripping. So I stopped texting and I stopped calling her and I haven't heard from her since. And it has been a year. Okay. So be very mindful of people like that. They always want your attention. They want one-sided relationships and friendships. But then on their end, they don't give much. So why do I need to come running up behind you if you don't have time for me? Tisha said, I treat people how they treat me. Look at therapy. Got Tisha acting brand new. Honey, Kimmie said, well, I'm not a big caller. Okay, if you're not a big caller, then a text should have been fine. Like, Kimmie, what are you talking about? You just used to Tisha running up behind you, just like Marcel. Y'all hate the fact that she's starting to figure things out. Honey, the wheels are spinning, like she said. So Kimmie said, you never really got calls from me. I mean, go back to the beginning. I never really called you. Okay, so that's even more of a reason why she shouldn't be running behind calling you. She's like, it's only a problem now because it's a problem. Tisha said, no, it's a problem because I noticed it. She said, friendships aren't one-sided, Kimmie. Kimmie said, yes, I totally agree with you. I hate one-sided mess. Honey, if I realize that you're one-sided and you don't want to be bothered with me, then I'm not bothered with you. But that's just me. Moving forward. So Kimmie said, I'm not a big caller. She said, so are you a big planner? Now, this is what Tisha went left, honey. I was like, oh, child, I thought I was going to be 100% on Tisha's side. But we're back. She said, planner? She said, yeah, you've been planning things and don't invite me. Kimmie is oblivious to what it is she's talking about. Tisha won't tell her what it is. Mel is like, so she planned something and you didn't know? She's like, I'm talking to her. Okay, Tisha, honey, you're in a group setting. They've all been privy to the entire conversation. You can't pick and choose when they can jump in and jump out. Okay, now let's proceed. This is my thing, girl, just say it, because it's obviously something. Kimmie knows it's something too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have reacted the way that she's reacting. She's like, okay, so this is making my brain stressful because you won't say what it is. Well, honey, if you know you didn't plan anything, then why are you wrecking your brain? What I would be saying is, well, girl, I know I ain't playing nothing. So whatever you're angry about, honey, that's on you. That's the way I would have took it. But you know you planned something and you didn't invite Tisha. And Tisha knows you planned something, but she's playing passive aggressive instead of just saying, I know you planned XYZ and you did not invite me. Stop this, Tisha. It's ridiculous. Okay? It's passive aggressive. It's childish. Just say what it is, and that'll be the end of that. So then we see Mel in the confessional, and she's like, well, I guess what happened in Vegas with Kimmie and Tisha didn't really stay in Vegas, you know, because Tisha is thinking that she's not the sister-in-law she should be again. I mean, I guess these two ain't gonna never be on the same page. Mel, honey, sweep around your own front porch first, okay? You and Martell get into it as y'all get into it, just like they do. Okay, all y'all fussing and fighting, and it's getting on my nerves. And that was the end of the episode. But baby, this was a filler episode. It really didn't give nothing. But honey, I tried to zhuzh it up as much as I could. But next week, Miss Wanda got some questions. Mel's mama is like, why you talk about my grandbabies? Martell mama there in the middle of the mess, about to get Destiny all the way together. And child, I'm going to be here for the foolishness. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. It was all right. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.